Is it Chappelle? Chapel?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chapel, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. The officer initiated a traffic stop after observing the defendant's vehicle without a Texas license plate on the front of the vehicle. During the stop, the officer observed an odor of marijuana and deployed K9 to conduct an open air search. The K9 alerted and the officers discovered 0.53 ounces of marijuana plus a gun under the driver's seat.
Okay. Mr. Chapel, do you have a Texas driver license, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can you run this license, please?
Yes, Judge.
Are you on probation or parole at this time?
Sir.
Are you on probation or parole at this time?
Sir.
How old are you?
22.
What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living?
Work.
Where?
Amazon delivery.
And Your Honor, his license is eligible.
Okay. How much money do you make a month?
A month. Somewhere around 3,000.
Okay. We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. I'm not putting any conditions on your bond. Just be careful. Don't pick up any new cases. Don't drive unless you have liability insurance. Car insurance. Do you have car insurance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't drive unless you have it. If you do, then it's not going to go well. Don't pick up any new cases.
Yes, sir.
I'll have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, we'll get you hired. When you come back, please have a lawyer, sir. Okay? Please. Good morning. You are Luis Guillermo Acosta Cruz.
Correct.
Sir, you're charged with failure to identify oneself by giving false or fictitious information. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine.
Order in the court.
We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. The officer observed a vehicle speeding 50 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone and failing to maintain a single lane. A traffic stop was initiated and the driver was placed in custody due to the traffic violations, and the officer made contact with the defendant, the passenger of the vehicle. The officer observed signs of intoxication from the defendant, including bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and poor balance, and the officer asked the passenger to step out of the vehicle because it was going to be towed. The officer asked the defendant to identify himself, and the defendant stated his name was Martin Sevilla Vargas, with a date of birth of November 16, 1982. The officer detained the defendant for public intoxication and identified the defendant with APIS.
I agree, Judge.
Yes.
Whatever you're about to say, I agree.
Yes.
I want to beat my head against the wall. I really just don't. Mr. Cruz, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I want to inform you now that it's very possible that they charge you with driving while intoxicated out of this event. And I don't know why they didn't charge you with that as it is.
Judge, to be clear, this defendant wasn't a driver. He was a passenger.
He was a passenger. No, he was the passenger. Yes. And yes.
He was a driver.
No,
No, and I'm dismissing the case, Judge.
Say that again?
I'm dismissing the case.
Which one?
The case you just found no probable cause.
You're on him? Did you find probable cause? Just for clarity.
I was going to
you said
find
no,
probable
BC.
cause.
Okay.
I'm going with
No,
the state.
I thought that he was a,
Oh, no, Your Honor.
No,
I thought he was DWI.
So let me just break down to you.
Did you not say he was the driver of the
No, he
car?
was the passenger, the defendant.
I thought you said,
No,
He's a passenger. They detain him.
maybe I need to go have like my head checked.
No.
He gives a false name. But they pull him out of the car, then they detain him for public intox after they're the ones that pull him out of the car. And then they APIS him off of that. And then they find
I think there's enough probable cause to go forward on a failure to ID.
I think that technically he meets the
Pienso de que
statute, but I think that it
sí está el
was,
estatuto, pero
I don't think that
no
they had a
pienso
right to
que
arrest him for
tienen el
class
derecho de
C public
arrestarlo.
intolerance after they're the ones that
Después de
put
que
him
ellos
in
son los que
public
lo pusieron en
by pulling him out of the car.
al sacarlo.
Okay, I'm gonna find no problem with
Después de claro que no pasa, pero voy a hacer
Today's your lucky day, Mr. Cruz. But I wanna impart something to you. If you're not in this country with permission and you get in trouble and you go to jail and immigration finds you, they're going to put an immigration detainment. So if I were you,
Para usted,
I would be on your best behavior because the next time you might not get so lucky and you could be very well spending the next 10 months to a year in jail. Do you understand? When you hang with dogs, you get fleas, especially if you have a bunch of little kids that depend on you, a wife.
una esposa,
Don't act a fool because the next time I might keep you. You understand? All right, buddy, you're free to go. Thank you.
Aquí en el medio, por favor. Morning.
señor interpretor.
You are Eric Ramos Amaya.
Sí, yes.
Order in the court.
Mr. Ramos Amaya, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during questions and interviews with the state of Texas. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to represent you, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. On October 28, 2024, the officer was dispatched to Hempstead Road in reference to a person down. Upon arrival, the officer met with a witness who advised that around 8:50 p.m., she observed the defendant's motor vehicle to be parked in a parking lot at Speedy's Fast Track and observed the defendant to be passed out
It's a safe place to stop, very well
in the
lit.
driver's seat of the car. The witness also observed the vehicle running. The witness attempted to wake the defendant, but he was non-responsive. Upon the officer's arrival, they also observed the defendant to be unconscious behind the wheel of the car with the vehicle running. Upon getting the defendant to exit the vehicle, the officer observed a moderate odor of an alcoholic beverage, glossy eyes, slurred speech, and a swayed stance on the defendant's person. The defendant admitted to drinking. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted, HGN, 6 out of 6, walk and turn, 6 out of 8, one leg stand, 2 out of 4. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.228 and 0.221.
So you just found him there in the parking lot.
It was reported as person down. There was a call that came in. He was unconscious.
What kind of evidence is there that he was driving at any time? How do we know that he was not just hanging out at Speedy's and drinking
Well,
like
you're right.
crazy?
The officer found him unconscious behind the wheel with the vehicle still running at the time. And
I understand that.
Entiendo eso.
I understand, but maybe it was for warmth, so he could breathe. What evidence is there of driving? Do you have anyone that sees him driving? Do you have?
Your Honor,
anyone-
the witness just sees him parked already with the vehicle running, and that's what,
I
yeah, and
understand.
that's what we have, is the call came in.
Michael, do you have anything else? You know?
Judge, so we have defendant unconscious in the driver's seat of the running vehicle, and the court's issue.
He's in a parking lot of Speedy's.
Está estacionado.
If he's in the middle of the road,
Está en medio de-
unconscious, that's something, right? If he's in the middle of nowhere, unconscious, and he had to have gotten there somehow, okay. How do we know he wasn't inside Speedy's?
Well, but Judge, my opinion is the court is attempting to litigate the issue. This is probable cause. All we have to show is that probable cause is met in the case. He is unconscious in his driver's seat of the vehicle while it's on. That, in the state's opinion, is more than enough.
Driving while intoxicated. It's not sitting in a
It's
car. while
operating a
intoxicated.
motor vehicle.
What proof do you have of operation?
I can provide you if the court needs case law citations of operation and what is considered enough for operation. If you give me like 5 minutes, I can get
Take your
that for
time,
you.
no rush.
Thank you,
Really,
Judge.
we got until the end of docket. Show me something that says just sitting in a car,
Yes,
you
Judge.
know, with it on.
And it's not a public roadway either. It is, yeah, it's a pub.
It's a public place, Judge. There's multiple case law.
I get that, but my issue is, how do we know that he wasn't inside Speedy's just going nuts on alcohol and he just goes back in his car and just sitting in his car to sleep it off? I don't know that. We don't operate on hunches, right? That's what I'm saying, like, if he's,
Assuming that the state is correct in their case law, it still doesn't address your essential question. I mean, let's just say what they're saying for operation purposes. It still doesn't address that at the time that the officer said, found him, he was at 0.08 or higher, or any operation at all while he was intoxicated.
I just want some proof of operation.
I can get you the case law.
That's,
Yes, Judge.
I'm not asking much. All right, take a seat, Mr. Ramos. I'm not ready to rule yet.
All right, Judge, our next Spanish is.
Okay, Mr. Ramos, I've been.
Order in the court, please.
I am gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward.
Declarar que hay causa probable para continuar con su caso.
I am ordering you as a condition of rebuttal. Well, let me ask you this. Are you a United States citizen?
No. No.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
Judge, I always tell my clients that it's not to answer it because you're asking them to admit to a potential criminal.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, está bien.
I want you to understand,
Quiero que
one thing.
entienda de que
Not in
una
this
cosa es si
country
no
with
está en el país
permission.
con permiso.
You go to jail and immigration finds you, they will put an immigration detainer on you and you will be stuck in custody first until this case is over with and then shipped off to immigration. I don't know what your immigration status is, but if you're not in this country with permission, be very careful. Do you have a Texas driver license?
Licencia de conducir de Texas.
Do you have liability insurance in your name?
Yes.
Okay, you may continue to drive, but I am ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I will randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of illegal drugs, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Now, I will order you to obtain an interlock that you're not allowed to drive any vehicle that's not equipped with an ignition interlock on it. Your counsel has asked me not to put one on in the work vehicle, but understand that could be a huge liability on your part. If there's an accident and they learn of that he has an open DWI, it could be potentially disastrous to your business. So you need to consider this when you're out there, especially if he's driving and he has an open DWI, it could be very disastrous.
Are you saying that he's allowed to drive one of her vehicles without an interlock?
I know that you're against this, right? What I will do is I'm also scram monitor on your ankle, so I know that you're not consuming alcohol at any time, and I will not put it on the vehicle, okay? But I want you to understand, these machines are extremely finicky, so you better darn well know anything that you put in your body before, because I don't care what it is, if it's a tequila lollipop, if it's NyQuil, if it's hair dye, if it's isopropyl alcohol, if it's Jesus comes down and tells you to break bread, I don't care what it is. The slightest, faintest, most remote positive alcohol, you will land in custody. Do you understand? Be careful, especially with your insurance, because if insurance knows that if your insurance doesn't know that he has an open DWI and it gets into an accident, they may deny liability. So, you need to really put everyone on notice, because it could be a very big issue. Now, good job on having a lawyer. You've got a junkyard dog for a lawyer who we respect very much. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with Herman. He will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If Herman tells me that he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Just stay in touch. Do not pick up any new cases and don't consume alcohol. Do you have any questions?
No.
I will also pay for the devices so that there are no issues, Herman.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Do you have any other issues that
No,
you
sir,
want?
not at this
Okay.
time.
All right. With that, we're done.
Thank you.
All right.
Just went all throughout, you know me, Judge, I go through all that.
Shh. Ma'am, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You've worked out an agreement that they're offering you 3 days in jail, credit for the 1 day that you've done. You need to understand that this charge will go on your record. It will be there for the rest of your life. It's even there after you die. It's important because if you ever get pulled over in a car and you have the smell of alcohol, officers will look, they'll see this. What do you think they're going to do to you if they smell alcohol? Right. What we're doing today, from now on, you are facing a minimum of 30 days in jail. No more proverbial slaps on the wrist. So if I were you, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car because you can be facing a lot of time. Do you understand? You still want to do this? You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront, cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, like I said, you can never change this. You sure you want to do this? Why not the intervention program to get it dismissed?
She had I think it was an evading back in 2023, and previous, her blood alcohol was like 0.29. It was way up there. She didn't want to have to go through all the medication.
Wait, she's a prior to WI? A prior to WI?
No, like evading. Back in 2023, she's already got a criminal record. I talked to her about that.
32.
Yourself now?
I work.
Doing what?
I work at Burns Barbecue, it's a barbecue place.
So no, you don't want to try to get this thing dismissed, huh? All right, ma'am. I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days. Do not drive until you get a license. What kind of money do you make?
I get paid every week.
How much do you make a month? Maybe 5.
I'm here, Judge. She got me.
Yeah, that's the question is how did she get a court-appointed lawyer? Because you shouldn't have qualified for an appointed lawyer. Can you fill out the
Financial affidavit.
I had 2 jobs at the time. I was working, as well.
So you have 2 jobs.
Well, I had 2 at the time.
So you don't have the same.
No, I only have 1.
Because the judge is like saying.
How long have you been working at the place?
10 years, since 2014.
You don't have children?
No, sir.
In order to pay the fines and fees, man, you know, I mean,
For DPS purposes, or, I mean,
you're gonna be
You-
required to
you-
pay the fines and fees, man. You don't qualify. You didn't even qualify for him. Put something completely different on the affidavit.
No, I had 2 jobs at the time. So
Oh,
what
so
do
you
I?
make even more money.
No, I had it 2 at the time. I filled out the paper at the time. Now I don't.
you don't have
For
to.
10 years, you're making
Shooting yourself.
$5,000 a
Just don't
month.
say it.
No,
Don't say it.
it's not actually how much it is.
Well, you just told the
That's
judge
what-
that, you just told the judge that right now you're making $3,000 with 1 job.
No,
Okay, well, that's what you just told him. How much do you make now? That's what he asked you. Okay, you just told
I only
him.
make like $200 and some after taxes, like 3. It's no more
You
than
mean
$300
$300?
a week. Yeah, $300 a
So
week.
why did you
What's
tell him
that?
$3,000 a month a while ago? That's what he's concerned about. Judge, I think we have a
I mean, after you round
miscommunication.
it-
You
round
make
it off,
$300 a
probably like
week.
2,000, so.
No, hold on.
what's-
You make $300 a week. Times 4, that's about $1,200 a
I
month.
just want the truth.
I can show you check stubs. I don't.
I asked you how much you made.
I
You
think
said $4,000, $3,000 to $4,000 a month,
Talking about a week now. You were thinking about a week.
Yes,
So
I
you
don't
make
make-
$300 a week.
John, I'm not,
Can I get proof and come back and revisit it, Judge? Can I get proof and come back and revisit it? Let's do that.
That's my personal.
Yeah, she says she has proof in her purse, so let me look at it and then I'll come right back and then before we go.
Take your time.
Okay, no worries. Good job.
Caesar.
Yeah, you can have it. You don't need to see this.
you don't ask for much. All we want our streets to be safe. And if you continue to pick up DWIs, you're either going to end up in jail, prison, or you can end up dead. The reason I ask you these questions now is because one of the things that you have to do when you pick up a DWI is you have a lot of fines and fees. One of the things that you are required to pay is a DPS surcharge. That surcharge is $3,000. If it's above a 0.15, it's $6,000. That's why I'm asking these questions to see if you are indigent or not. And if you're indigent, more than likely what I do is if there are no issues, then I waive the fines and fees and surcharges and the court costs. But you're telling me that you make $3,000 to $4,000, and then when I say, oh, about $5,000, you shake your head, yes. So which one is it? How am I supposed to know? So I have a big issue because now I don't know what to believe. The only thing I'm going to tell you is this. I will give you the benefit of the doubt today, but I'm not going to do it again. On a second DWI, your surcharges will amount to around $7,000. So if you are not smart enough to consider how to get home like a little child, we will put you on our knee and spank you like a little child. But we do it with a ton of jail time and a humongous financial hit. Do you understand? All we want are streets to be safe. And if you want to get lit, great. Just hit one small button on your phone that gets you a car ready to take you anywhere you want to go for $20. It's a geographical oddity. Understand? Good luck. It's 253-5048. Mr. Jones, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense, and it's elevated to Class A. Well, it's elevated due to the high blow, so you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you, sir.
Have Ms. McBride.
Yes,
Okay,
Judge.
please.
The officer was dispatched to a public street in Pearland in Harris County, Texas, in response to a crash. Upon arrival, the officer was met with the witness, the defendant's wife, who stated that she was tracking the defendant's location on her phone while he was driving home from a diner, and noticed that the car was stationary for a long period of time. When the witness arrived at the scene, she saw the defendant standing outside his vehicle, and the defendant told the officers that he made a wide right turn and hit a parked car. EMS arrived and began examining the defendant. EMS asked the defendant if he had consumed alcohol, and the defendant admitted to drinking 7 whiskeys. The officer stated that while speaking to the defendant, he observed an odor of an alcoholic beverage. The officer began a DWI investigation while en route to the hospital. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted, HGN 6 out of 6, and walk-in turn and one-leg stand were not conducted due to the defendant being strapped to a gurney. The officer obtained a search warrant, and the blood alcohol was 0.16.
You said there was a witness that saw this, right?
A witness who was tracking on his phone, on her phone, seeing the vehicle
You
stationary.
also have a witness who saw the traffic infractions, right?
There was-
So it was an accident where he had hit another car. We don't
Correct.
have another
This
witness
one.
that actually saw that. Yeah.
All
I don't know if I may, that the witness they're referring.
right, stop.
Okay.
It's okay. We'll fight that battle whenever it's time.
Okay,
Anything you say they can use against you, just don't,
Sure.
not a lawyer. Ms. McBride can do everything for you. So, Mr. Jones, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or kind of any illegal drugs, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
Yes, sir.
Do you have liability insurance in your name? You're not allowed to drive unless you have both. And I'm placing now an additional restriction on your license. You're not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an interlock on it. If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock, likewise, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds.
Interlock.
It's a breath test device that you will put in your car that does not allow you.
Where do I get that?
I have pretrial services here that will help you with the paperwork and how to go get it done. I'm now just telling you, we will also provide paperwork to the Texas Department of Public Safety so that if you're
Okay.
caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock, officers will know and they will put you in jail. So just beware that eyes are all around you and everyone.
Understand it.
And also, I just want to make a point that this is the policy of the courts to order it. There's nothing that I can do or say to make you not order the interlock on a second.
On every second DWI, we do that. So it's per statute. Morgan, did you want to add anything? You came up here, usually it's because you want to.
No, Judge, I just thought it might kind of sound confusing. I just wanted to add.
Okay, thanks. Now you have a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with the lawyer and she will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If Darla tells me she can't get a hold of you because you're not responding to phone calls or text messages, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the bond, Darla. I don't see a bond that's been set. Alex, do you have a recommendation? And I need a PSR actually as well, you know? Do you mind? Let's do a PR bond. Mike.
Opposed to a PR bond.
I don't have his criminal history. The only thing I see is a DWI from 1989. You know, back when Martin was famous.
Yeah, Judge, I mean, just given, we would be opposed, just given the nature of the offense as a major crash. He admitted to drinking 7 glasses of whiskey, get above a 0.15, so just.
What's your opinion as to a bond amount?
I mean, I would.
Nothing set right now.
Oh, it's not set at all. I would
That's
ask for
not
1,000, sure. I would ask for 1,000, surety, Judge.
Darla, what do you think?
I mean, 1,000 is fine to have a number set, but we would ask for the PR bond to be granted. I mean, I was, I think, 6 years old when he picked up his first DWI. He hasn't had any, significant interactions with police officers since then.
Do you have any criminal history from back then until now?
No,
Or just briefly run this history, Judge.
Yeah, please.
Your Honor, may I address the court? Okay.
And it's more so to protect you, because I don't
Yes, sir.
want to say something that you, when you think you try to help, you may invariably put the proverbial foot in the mouth.
Yeah.
It's just now is not the best time.
No, Judge, there's no other criminal history.
Okay. It's been a while. He's not been in trouble. I mean, I believe everybody deserves a chance and I'll give it to you now. I'll give you a PR bond. But like I said, you're not going to get another one. If I find that you start acting up or you endanger my public in any way, I will put you in jail and I'm going to make your bond extremely high.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'll set the bond at 1,000. Darla, I'll grant you a PR bond. We'll have him meet with pretrial. We'll have you sign a reset as well. And then if you just hold tight for me, we'll have you out here in about 20, 30 minutes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Hey, Judge, how's January